Alrighty, thank you everyone that is here for our class on entrepreneurship. More of a just a little chat, and for everyone that's going to watch the replay, greatly appreciate it. On Mondays, pretty much every other Monday, I'm always trying to collaborate with other business owners and make sure that we bring you information that can just help you in your overall life as well as business. So tonight we are talking about business, and we are gonna chat with my new friend Natalie about her journey to entrepreneurship and tips for anyone else that is trying to make the transition, especially to full time entrepreneurship. So, with that, Natalie, if you could just start out, tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do, all that good stuff.
I'm Natalie. I live in Melbourne, Australia, and I have been running my own business for 7 years in November. It's a soy wax candle business, so it's the kind of business that anyone can do. But I think to kind of do it for 7 years, I can probably give you guys some tips.
Awesome, awesome. So let's just start out for anyone that might see this that is just like, I want to be an entrepreneur, but I don't even know what I want to do. Like, so what are your tips for helping someone like find their passion or find what their niche is?
Think about what you wake up in the morning and what you do, because the thing that you want to do is what's going to get you further. Because I think when people start researching, they're looking at what's going to make them the most money, what's going to get them, like this top-notch level. And to be honest with you, that's not going to work. It's going to be the thing that you love doing and working with the people that you like working with as well. So if you're going to go down a career path, of your own business, it's got to be something that you like, because I guarantee it won't work long term if it's not.
So can you like just walk us through the process that you went through when you went to go start your business, right? So once you started doing the candles, once it became an idea, I want to do this, and when you made the decision to go full time, like walk us through a little bit of that process of how you did that.
Yeah. Uh, so I had no intention of starting my own candle business ever, ever. It just wasn't ever on the cards. But I was a wedding photographer for about 4 or 5 years, and I really liked working for myself. I liked the pressure of running my own business. I liked that, everything was down to me, the highs, the lows, it was all on me. And so what happened was I started pouring candles for Christmas presents for like family and friends and stuff. And I really enjoyed doing it. And it was awesome seeing people's faces when they smelt my candles. Like it felt good. And I was like, I want to keep doing this. And so I just kept pouring. And like one of my friends said to me, why don't you take it to a market? Took it to a market, had the most fun day ever. I only sold a couple of candles, but that passion kind of got ignited. And I enjoyed doing it so much that I set up a social media account, and it just sort of kept going. Like it was a really natural progression, but once I started putting the work in, I started seeing results as well.
Nice. So then when you made that decision, about how long of a period was before you could say, this is what I do full time. My passion is what I do full time.
Probably 18 months into it. At the beginning, there was a lot of kind of, oh, I could do this long term, but no, 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 I won't, that's not, no one does candles as a full-time business. I think that was in the back of my head a lot too, but I got into a really big market here, and it's called Finders Keepers Market. It's kind of at this huge like exhibition building, super crazy. And I made $10,000 in one weekend, and that was about 8 months in. And all of a sudden I went, oh, I can make money off of this. This can be like a full-time gig. And seeing such great feedback, it kind of got me further into it. I started talking to stockists, like stores and all that sort of thing, about putting my things in there, and just kind of ran with it from there.
So how did you make some of those connections? Like how did you find out about the market or getting into stores and stuff like that?
Yeah. At the very beginning, like somebody came to my stall who I didn't know at all, no idea who they were. And they were like, oh, I've seen your social media. I want some tips about doing markets. And I was like, I don't know who this chick is. Okay, cool. Had a chat. And she ended up doing the next market with me. And she sort of said, hey, do you want to go get a cup of coffee like after this? And I'm like, all right, like kind of not thinking anything of it. But we had some other makers join us. And all of a sudden, we started a community for small businesses in Melbourne that are handmade. And honestly, I think connection wise, that was the best thing that I ever did. So it was just about talking to people who are in the same circles as you. And I started it online, you know what I mean? Like I started following other small businesses and reaching out. And I think that people are kind of a bit timid about it initially. But the best thing that you can do is to just jump into it, go have a chat, walk into a shop and say, hey, how you doing? And the worst thing that can happen is go them sort of say to you, oh, I'm not interested. That's the worst thing that can happen, you know?
Absolutely. So through this journey, what are some things that you would say that you've learned that are just business basics for someone that's just starting out?
Money management, time management, and the ability to delegate when you need to. And if you can't delegate, learn it, go online, research it, look at what other businesses are doing. Like, I think education is such a big thing, and it doesn't have to be doing a business course, it has to be kind of life experience and business experience in it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, can you tell me a little bit more about just your networking experiences? Because I know that like kind of rolled in that you even do a podcast and stuff like that. So, can you just talk to me a little bit more about your networking?
Yeah. So the podcast, I started that 2.5 years ago, I want to say. And that really helped because I spoke to businesses that I probably would have been scared to approach previously, but kind of having the front of, I want to talk to you about it and kind of telling them that you admire them. It really helped kind of connect that, you know, like how flattering is it when somebody turns to you and goes, oh, I really like what you do. I want to talk to you about it, especially like in a public way. I think that that's a huge compliment and it kind of helps you to reach out to people that you wouldn't normally. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
just asking people, asking, but yeah, asking people that you like, and usually they're pretty flattered and are happy to have a chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've, had the blessing and opportunity to do collaboration class with lots of people, and people will be like, "How did you get that psychologist on there? How did you get that chiropractor?" And I was like, I told them that I followed them and that I love them and they're amazing and that they inspire me and I want to learn from them. Would they like to do a class? And they always say yes. No one has ever
Yeah,
said no. So,
Right.
yeah, definitely, definitely. So,
absolutely. And flattering.
absolutely. And can you
Mm.
tell me a little bit more about like social media presence? Like you have a business IG. How do you start that? What do you do? What's involved? Like how often do you check it? Stuff like that. Just basics.
Social media sadly becomes your whole life when you run a small business. It's your be all and end all. Like, and you know, the whole, oh, I'm so addicted to my phone. I am, but it's partially because I have to be. You know, do you know what I'm saying? Because if you're not present on social media, people forget that you exist. Like often I'll be really cheeky and just not post for a couple of months. And I see my sales go down and I suddenly go, oh, that's right. In order for people to buy off you, they have to see you. And the way that they're going to see you is on social media. So if you are wanting to start a business, you need a social media account. You need to post regularly. You need new content, like pretty much every day, preferably. And it has to be stuff that people want to see too. Like, don't just put some stock photo up and expect that you're going to get a million likes on it. It's got to be stuff that they want to see and hear.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely reiterate that. I definitely was not a social media person when I started my business, but I had to become, and it is like you have to plan your content. You have to spend a minimum of an hour a day doing it because, like you said, it's networking, it's connecting with other people. People aren't going to interact with you unless you interact. Like people don't show up to your page to just throw you $100. Like you have to be on their pages and in their DMs, and that's how you get people to come to you. So yeah, definitely. So
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
no, you if you had something to add, you can add it.
I was thinking, like, I think about your social media page, and one of my favorite things that comes up is when you're dancing, and it's got nothing to do with the coaching, but you feel a connection to you, and that's a huge thing as well on social media, like,
I
because
like
they
that
go,
too. Yeah.
oh, yeah, you're
That's
kind
what
of
I
like,
do.
oh,
I
I got
dance
this
all day
here.
long. I was like, I'm about to do this photo shoot and I'm bored. What am I supposed to do? And it's hot. Well, I'm going to find a girl boss song because that's what I'm doing. And I literally look for a song being a girl boss, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna dance. This is what I do.
Yeah,
So
I think it's the best thing ever because people like it. They like seeing that. It makes them happy, you know?
yeah. Now, talk to me a little bit about customer service because that's got to be a really key when you're running your own business.
Yeah, it is. You've got to be switched on all the time, and you can't take anything personally because if you take it personally and you have a go at them or start a fight, then they're going to tell their friends, and chances are that negative word is going to spread a whole lot more than positive words. So be as polite, as cordial, as reasonable as you can. Don't like, kind of let people walk all over you at the same time, but always be polite with it, even if it's a no. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not a, oh, get out of here, blah, blah, blah. No, no, no. You've got to still be as polite as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Now,
Big
where
deal.
would you say that you get your like drive or motivation from to keep going?
The best thing for me is when I get an email or a message when candles have gotten delivered to someone's house and they love it and it's made their day. And, I put little lollipops in with each order. It doesn't cost me more than 20 cents, but a little surprise, a little bit of color, it makes people happy. And I think the knowledge that something that I've done and something that I've made with my hands has made someone happy, it just makes me happy too. And I think that kind of keeps me going every day. Like I've got a bunch of orders inside that I've got to get done today. And to be honest, I don't want to. We've got no power. I'm tired. I'm like literally
Right.
sipping coffee as I do this. But I know I have to, and I know that people are going to appreciate it long term. And that's kind of what keeps you going for sure.
Right. Now, do you save like some of those emails like in a file or something that people send you at all?
I should. That's a really good idea, actually. Because
I
no, I
just
don't. I just
I just heard that, like an individual I'm in a Facebook group for, and he calls himself the mind mechanic, and so he does a mind tune up on Tuesdays, and he was like, one of the best things to get through that like imposter syndrome or like when you feel like you're not being good enough, remember all the times when people have said positive things for you. So he was like, when somebody says something super positive, like clip that and put it like in a Word document, and then when you're feeling down, like go back and read all that stuff. Like you are successful at what you do, you are making people happy. Just try to focus on that. So yeah, the last, like I just got something recently, and then I was like, wait a minute, I need to clip this and save this and put it in my stories because it's also a testimony for other people too to have a clip of
very
that and put in
true.
your stories. So
Yeah, that's a great idea. Because often I find that you only remember negative things. They're the ones that stick the most. So having that positive, that's such a good idea. I'm going to do that. Can you remind me though? Because
I will. I will. Now, so we know that we're living in a completely different world. You've been doing this for 7 years, and 2020 and 2021 has been really different. So, I mean, because you were already a home based business, were you affected at all? If so, how? And how did you get through some of that?
it sucked, to be honest. It still sucks. Like Melbourne's in lockdown. We're in lockdown. It's been 18 months and we're still stuck at home. So like my big outing was getting my coffee this morning. But for me, a huge thing was that it made me really focus more online because I couldn't go to the markets and I couldn't rely on having a conversation with someone to make a sale. That hit me pretty hard. But I remember a friend of mine who does small business as well. We talked about pivoting your business. And for me, a huge thing that I started doing was lockdown candles. And what I would do is like people would order a candle and I'd have little labels that sort of, said miss you sort of thing. So that it was aimed at people that couldn't see their loved ones. And, I'd write a little note if they wanted to, put some like candy in or something and send it off. And so it became almost a gift service in a way. And I started getting more sales online than I've ever gotten before because it was something new. It was something that people needed in that moment. It was about catering to people that are having a really dodgy time. No one likes lockdown. No one wants to be in this situation, and to be able to share a little bit of love and have a positive kind of Instagram account that was aimed at that, I think benefited me greatly. And, kind of turning the negative of being stuck at home into a positive in the business, that I was getting more orders. I was actually busier than ever. And this for like stay at home. I was at home, like we're all good. It was anyway the same sort of thing. So yeah.
Right. So walk me through a little bit, just like what a day in the life, or maybe even just a week, because each day is going to be different. Because you talked about the importance of like time management and things of that to make sure that your business was solid. So just share with everyone a little bit about that.
My weeks vary. They definitely vary because there are some weeks where I'll wake up and kind of go, okay, I've got to get it done because if I don't get it done first thing in the morning, I'm not going to get it done. So, I might pour 250 candles in a day and not have to think about it for the rest of the week. Or I might end up doing 25 a day or something like that. It's kind of about working out what's going to be best for you that week, especially if you're not emotionally ready to do it on that day. I kind of recommend spacing it out, doing it when you can, if you can. Um, but often I'll try to ensure that I've dedicated a morning a week to social media posting. That way I've got all my content ready. I try to take photos at least once a week, which I've been really slack on this year. So, it's not always going to be perfect. But yeah, definitely social media. Have a look at other people's Instagrams that you admire. Look at what they're doing. Don't copy it because that's a jerk move, but take inspiration from it and make something your own too. Because, if there's a trend hitting, if people are starting to use, TikTok and Reels, then jump on it as well and kind of do your own version of it. Um, but yeah, just kind of research, work, do something fun within your business as well, something different that you haven't done before. And yeah, like I think when you're an entrepreneur in a small biz, things are going to vary week to week. So having like one set schedule isn't going to work that way. If you only work that way, it's probably not for you. Like I hate saying that, but it's true.
Yeah. And then I guess just share with us like what type of personality you have, because I know there's a lot of people that feel like, well, I have a passion for this, but I'm an introvert, or I have a passion for this, but I'm not good at sales, so I don't think I can do business.
That's imposter syndrome, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, if you have imposter syndrome, then you're not going to be able to do it. You've got to get past that. You've got to look within yourself, look at what your positives are, and take it from there. Because if you don't do that, you're not going to jump into it. You've got to kind of feel the fear and then just do it anyway. Because no one knows what's going on in your head. Like I was nervous before I jumped on here. I'm like, oh my God, I'm normally the one interviewing. Like, oh my gosh, but you just go for it, just yeah, feel the fear, do it anyway, go have a chat. The worst thing that's going to happen is it's a little bit awkward, but you're going to get past it. Like tomorrow is a new day. And realize that you do have something to offer, even if you're incredibly introverted, even if you're not a huge conversationalist. Just feel that fear, go have a chat, and I guarantee 99% of the time you're going to feel better for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I know for me, anytime that I've felt scared about anything, it's always like, that was not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like, you don't die. Like, no actually really doesn't hurt that bad. Like, I'm not interested
Yeah.
actually doesn't really hurt that bad. And it actually comes a lot less often than you think it will. And I think
Mm-hmm.
just one of the other things is if you know that you have something, like you said, that is going to bless people, that's going to make them happy, just lean into that. I know that this individual that I mentioned, that I'm in his group, that he's a motivational speaker and stuff. He's very like aggressive to some people when it comes to like tagging us and then emailing us and then messaging us. And at no point in time have I ever felt like he's irritating me, because there's
Yeah.
only 162 people in the group, and like I signed up for this, like and he put a post up, and I saw the post, and I thought about commenting on it, but I forgot, and so then he tagged me. Like I signed up for this, like I signed up for getting some motivation and getting a kick in the butt, so why would I get irritated for him? And I think that sometimes as entrepreneurs we're like, well, we're bothering them, or we're this, but they already bought something for you. They liked your page. They said they wanted to hear from you. It's okay. So,
Yep. And people don't see every single post you put up either. Like they don't. That's not how Instagram algorithms work. It's not how mailing lists work. So you have to harass people in a nice way. I'm not saying, buy my stuff, but it's more kind of, hey, we're here, we exist. constantly. Because if they're going to get tired of it, then they're probably not going to buy your stuff anyway. So, adios.
Absolutely. So, does anyone have any questions as we get close to wrapping up? Any comments, anything?
Um, what's another advice that you can give for starter businesses? In terms of trusting yourself and your gut, you know, in being that business person, entrepreneur.
You already are that. You already are an entrepreneur. The second that you go, I've got an idea, you're an entrepreneur. You don't have to become it or like suit a role. You've got
Right.
to take what you've got and you've got to run with it. Just run, and like I'm not saying, put all your money into it. Start small, but every day say to yourself, okay, what am I doing towards my business today? Have someone hold you accountable, someone who's gonna, basically hunt you down if you don't do what you're gonna do that day. You need
Right.
that. But yeah, the second you've got an idea, you're an entrepreneur. Whether you run with it or not is up to you.
Yeah, I think that's super key. I think when you mentioned that you were able to connect with other business owners and you were able to create this community, I really think that that's a huge part of it. You have to get the positive inputs constantly. So if you're only around other people that are employees and they're like, they're just used to punching the clock, of course it's going to seem like it's hard and you're doing something strange. But if you're around other entrepreneurs and you're having conversations and you're reading a self-development book one per month and you're doing all the things, because I know for me, it's like people are constantly like, oh, you seem so motivated and you do all this stuff. And I'm like, but I need it. Like I go through so many like personal development things because that's what keeps me going. I do so many alternative therapies because that's what helps me stay emotionally regulated. And so the more inputs and the more collaboration and the more positivity and the more confident other business owners you have around you, I think that's just going to drive you forward faster.
Yeah, definitely. It's really easy once you've got people around you that love what you love as well, because you're going to have people that wake up in the morning wanting the same things that you want to. Tashina's completely right. Like people that are doing 9 to 5, awesome, but they're not going to get things the way that people that are in the middle of it with you get it.
Right.
Any other questions, comments?
Nope.
All right, Natalie, any last thoughts you would like to share with any?
Just do it. Just do it,
Period.
please. Yeah. Because, we could talk for a million hours about, setting up finances, about, prototypes, about all kinds of things. But if you don't love what you do when you wake up in the morning, if you don't surround yourself with the right people, you're not going to get further. So please, 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 if you want to start something, just jump into it, have a chat with people, reply to social media posts of people that are doing the same thing that you do, because you're not going to regret it ever. You're not.
All righty, thank you, thank you. With that, we are going to end our call for today. And I hope everyone that was here enjoyed it, took lots of notes, and everyone that watched the replay enjoys it as well. Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.